Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So the Xbox may have just helped Epic get Fortnite back onto iOS devices. We have a date for Summer Game Fest, and Ocarina of Time gets a major award. We have those topics to cover and more, but before we get started, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. That's the best way to let me know you enjoy the content on this channel. Now let's get started. So if you remember a while back, Apple took Fortnite off of their App Store when Epic put its own shop inside of the application in order to bypass Apple's cut. Well, we have this announcement here from news.xbox.com. Today we reached another key milestone as we expand our business model to make cloud available to more people in even more ways, going beyond Xbox Game Pass to provide our first free-to-play title. In partnership with Epic, Fortnite is available via Xbox Cloud Gaming, so fans can play on an iOS device, Android phone or tablet, or Windows PC through the web browser. This is just the beginning for us. We're going to learn, implement feedback, and in time look to bring even more free-to-play titles to players through the cloud. So a browser-based version of Fortnite means that people would be able to play it on an iOS device even without having to locally install it. And in case you weren't aware, if you play a game on an iOS device and it has microtransactions in it, then Apple gets a 30% cut on every one of those purchases. So say you buy a skin pack for $10, Apple's going to take $3 of that. And back in August of 2020, Epic decided to try to go around that, and that prompted Apple to pull Fortnite off of the iOS store, and then a huge litigation suit continued and I think is still ongoing. But running the game through the browser, then there's no way for Apple to take a cut if you purchase anything. Now you have to be subscribed to Game Pass in order to play the Xbox Cloud Gaming, so Microsoft does get some money out of this way. And I have been wondering for a while why Xbox hasn't done this before. It does make it a quick way to hop onto a free-to-play game, even though the quality of the graphics may be downgraded in the stream. You would be able to quickly jump from any computer or mobile device and play online. You would even be able to use things like a Chromebook. Now they say that more games are coming to this service, and I wonder what you would like to see. I know right now Final Fantasy XIV is not on Xbox, but is available for PC. Could Microsoft make this work in the cloud format where you would be able to play the cloud version on Xbox? Next, we have an announcement about Summer Game Fest. This coming from Jeff Keighley. We have a date. Don't miss Summer Game Fest streaming live on Thursday, June 9th at 11 Pacific or 2 Eastern. I'm hosting a live cross-industry showcase. Game announcements, reveals, plus Day of the Devs. Lots of events coming in June. Keep checking. Now they said they're going to have new game announcements and footage, and then I have another interesting announcement here from the Game Awards official account. This December, we are teaming with IMAX to bring the Game Awards live to IMAX. That's right, watch the show live with your friends in the world's most immersive cinematic format. Plus, Summer Game Fest is coming live to IMAX on June 9th too. And they have this announcement trailer here, and I think this is kind of a neat idea to be able to watch it in a huge theater. And I haven't heard yet how much it will cost to watch the event in IMAX theaters. I imagine it'll probably be along the same lines as like some of these live concerts they've done before. But make sure to put on your calendar June 9th for Summer Game Fest, and hopefully we'll get to see some good footage and good announcements. And since we're talking about shows with game announcements, we have this article from VGC. No confirmed runtime for the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, says Microsoft. So there have been some rumors out there floating around about how long would this showcase be, and we have a little more information here. The E3 style event was announced last week and is set to take place on Sunday, June 12 at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, with the news on titles coming from Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda, and our partners around the world. It's not been officially confirmed how long the event will last, however, as noted by Twitter sleuth IdleSoft84, when the calendar invite for the showcase is added from Xbox official site, it brings up a meeting lasting 90 minutes. Xbox marketing boss Aaron Greensberg later replied to the observation and claimed that the final runtime for the show was yet to be finalized. Now, last year's showcase was about an hour and 25 minutes, and the one they had in 2020 was about an hour. So 90 minutes is what I would expect for something like this, and considering that's pretty much how long last year's was, this is probably a pretty good guess. Next, the Chinese studio NetEase is launching its first studio in the US. This coming from their website and the official press release. NetEase Games, the online division of NetEase Inc., announced today that the first US studio, Jackalope Games, based in Austin, Texas. Jackalope Games will be creating new and exciting PC and console games as a first-party studio of NetEase Games. Jackalope Games is led by industry veteran Jack Emmert, whose credits include City of Heroes, Neverwinter, Star Trek Online, and DC Universe Online. Jack has worked on games based on some of the biggest media franchises in history and brings decades of MMORPG experience to this studio. And then he has a quote here, "NetEase Games is the best possible place for me and my team to thrive. We share the same passion to create engaging online universes for gamers worldwide. NetEase Games is providing the support and resources needed to build a great studio and great games." They go on to talk about making AAA games, and from the press release and given the history of Jack Emmert, it's a pretty good assumption that they'll be making MMORPGs. So it'll probably be several years before we actually see anything come out of this. And they do say that Jackalope will operate independently from NetEase and maintain their own creativity in developing and publishing titles. Now, even though they're working out of Austin, Texas, they will be looking for talent to work remotely all over the world. Next, we've seen Nintendo take a foray into mobile gaming, and it looks like it's paying off for them. Nintendo close to hitting $1.8 billion in revenue from mobile games, and they have a graph here of how much each of their mobile games has brought in. And you can see here that Fire Emblem Heroes is the biggest chunk of this, with a total of $983 million in revenue, which is 55% of the total. But when we look at total downloads, you can see Super Mario Run is at the top of the list, and this doesn't really match the revenue that's being brought in. And if you didn't know, Mario Run is free to start, which means you get like the first little bit of the game, but then you have to pay to get the rest of it, which I think is probably what hurt them the most here. Maybe if they had redesigned it with more microtransactions, it might have succeeded in the revenue streams. And I would expect Nintendo to continue to use their IPs for mobile games. What are some of the ones you would like to see? I would love to see some type of Zelda related one. Maybe you have these little levels that are kind of designed off the original Legend of Zelda, and you might have some microtransactions in there to be able to buy some potions or something to help you throughout the game, but then maybe you can still play it for free, but it'd be a lot more challenging. And finally, since I brought up The Legend of Zelda, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was inducted into the World Video Game Hall of Fame. It was a few months ago when I covered that they were nominated, and you can see right here are the 4 games that got inducted. You have Dance Dance Revolution, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Miss Pac-Man, and Sid Meier's Civilization. Now, the original Legend of Zelda was inducted in 2018, and the Hall of Fame has some pretty recognizable names in it. This includes Halo, Street Fighter II, Pac-Man, and Final Fantasy VII. And of course, there's the age-old debate with Zelda, which game is the best in the franchise. I still tend to go with Ocarina of Time, even though yes, Breath of the Wild is a lot more expansive and a lot better graphics. I just really enjoy the narrative and a lot of the challenges in Ocarina of Time, not to mention that it was one of the most groundbreaking games of all time. But if you have an opinion, drop a comment below and let us all know. And that's all we have for today. Did anything we talk about catch your attention? Were you surprised to see Fortnite added into cloud gaming for Xbox? And do you like to make time to watch things like Summer Game Fest and the Xbox Showcase and catch these announcements as they're coming out? Or do you usually just kind of wait until somebody else reports on it or maybe watch it later? Make sure to drop a comment below about those topics or anything else we covered today. I want to thank you for watching, have a great weekend, and be good.